What if the first message from aliens isn't a friendly hello, but a desperate scream for help? A new scientific theory suggests that when we finally detect extraterrestrial life, it won't be the peaceful advanced civilization from the movies. Instead, it might be a civilization in its final moments, sending out one last, impossibly loud signal before it's gone forever. And here's the crazy part. We might be becoming one of those civilizations right now. Welcome back to Mind and Marvel, where we explore the science that makes you question everything. I'm breaking down a mind-blowing new theory from Columbia University astronomer David Kipping that's completely changing how we think about finding alien life. For decades, Hollywood has prepared us for first contact in very specific ways. There's the Independence Day scenario, hostile invaders with superior technology. There's E.T., the friendly alien who just wants to phone home. There's Close Encounters, the peaceful, mysterious beings who communicate through music. Or there's Contact, the advanced civilization sending us blueprints to visit them. But here's the thing. According to this new research, all of these scenarios are probably wrong. Not because aliens don't exist, but because of something way more interesting, and honestly, kind of sobering. It's about what we're most likely to detect first, and why that matters. Kipping's theory is called the Iscachian hypothesis, and it's based on a simple but powerful observation about how we discover things in the universe. And it might just explain why, after decades of searching, we still haven't found anyone out there. So, let's talk about how humans actually discover things in space, because this is the foundation of the entire theory, and it's something you've probably never thought about before. When we discover something new in astronomy, and I mean really new, the first of its kind, it's almost never a typical example. It's usually an extreme outlier. Let me give you some examples that'll blow your mind. The very first planets we discovered outside our solar system, they weren't orbiting normal stars like our sun. They were orbiting pulsars, these incredibly weird, rapidly spinning neutron stars with insanely powerful magnetic fields. For a while, scientists were like, wait, is this what other solar systems look like? But no. As we got better at looking, we found thousands more planets, and only a handful were around pulsars. We just noticed the pulsar planets first because they were creating huge, obvious signals. Or, think about supernovae. Exploding stars. We discovered them before we understood normal stars, simply because they're so incredibly bright. A single supernova can temporarily outshine an entire galaxy of hundreds of billions of stars. It is impossible to miss. But supernovae are actually the death throes of stars, not representative of how most stars behave. Here's Kipping's key insight. We don't discover what's common first, we discover what's loud first, what's extreme, what stands out dramatically against the background noise of the universe. Okay, so what does loud actually mean when we're talking about alien civilizations? Because aliens don't literally shout into space, right? In this context, loud means producing an unusually strong techno-signature, basically any sign of technology that we could potentially detect from light years away. This could be things like massive energy emissions, unusual radio signals, or even the chemical signature of extreme pollution in an atmosphere. Now here's where it gets dark. Kipping argues that the loudest civilizations are probably not the most advanced or most stable ones. They're likely civilizations in crisis, civilizations that are unstable, unsustainable, or, and this is the really sobering part, potentially in their terminal phase, their end times. Think about it from Earth's perspective. What would make us most detectable to aliens right now? It's not our peaceful radio broadcasts or our careful, deliberate attempts at communication through SETI. It would be our pollution, the carbon dioxide rapidly accumulating in our atmosphere, the methane, the chemical pollutants. These create a loud techno-signature that's basically screaming into space. There's a technological civilization here, and it's destabilizing its own planet. Kipping even suggests that the loudest signal humanity could possibly create would be a global nuclear war. Obviously unsustainable. Obviously terminal. But also incredibly detectable from across the galaxy. The hypothesis suggests these loud civilizations might only be loud for a tiny fraction of their total existence, maybe just 1/1,000,000th of their lifetime. But if they're pumping out enough energy during that brief window, they'd still be the ones we notice first. Now let's talk about one of the greatest mysteries in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the WOW signal. On August 15, 1977, A radio telescope in Ohio picked up an incredibly powerful signal from space. It was so strong, so unusual, that the astronomer monitoring the data literally wrote, "Wow," in the margins. The signal lasted 72 seconds, matched the expected pattern of an extraterrestrial transmission, and then vanished. We've never detected it again, despite decades of trying. For almost 50 years, scientists have debated what caused the WOW signal. Was it aliens, a natural phenomenon we don't understand, equipment malfunction, a comet? Every explanation has problems, but Kipping offers a chilling new interpretation. What if it was aliens, but not the kind we hoped for? What if the WOW signal was exactly what the Iskatian hypothesis predicts? A civilization's desperate, final cry for help. A last-ditch attempt to reach out to anyone listening before they disappeared forever? Think about it. A brief, incredibly powerful signal that appears once and never repeats. That's exactly what you'd expect from a civilization in its terminal phase, using everything they have left to send one loud message into the cosmos. We were here. Can anyone help? We'd still be here, listening, but they'd be gone, their signal traveling through space long after their civilization ended. So, if the Iskatian hypothesis is correct, what does this mean for how we search for alien life? Well, it completely changes our strategy. Traditional SETI focuses on targeted searches, pointing radio telescopes at promising star systems and listening for deliberate signals. We're looking for the alien equivalent of a phone call, intentional, repeated, clear communication from a stable civilization. But Kipping argues we should be doing the opposite. Instead of targeted searches, we need wide-field, high-cadence surveys. Basically, we need to be watching as much of the sky as possible, as continuously as possible, looking for anomalous transient events, brief, powerful signals that appear and then vanish. To put it simply, if you're trying to catch a shooting star, you don't stare at one tiny patch of sky hoping it appears there. You scan the whole sky, watching for the brief flash wherever it happens. The good news? We're actually getting pretty good at this. New observatories like the Vera Rubin Observatory and the Sloan Digital Sky Survey are designed to continuously monitor huge portions of the sky, looking for anything that changes. They're hunting for supernovae, asteroids, and other cosmic events, but they could just as easily catch that loud, brief techno-signature from a dying civilization. But here's the really profound implication. If the hypothesis is right, it means advanced, stable, sustainable civilizations might be everywhere in the galaxy. We just can't see them. They're too quiet, too sustainable, too harmonious with their environment. As science fiction author Carl Schroeder wrote, "Any sufficiently advanced civilization is indistinguishable from nature." Here's the part that should really make us pause and think. If Kipping is right, then Earth might already be entering our own loud phase. Our rapidly changing climate, our atmospheric pollution, our unsustainable resource consumption, these aren't just local problems. They're creating a techno-signature visible across space. We're broadcasting our instability to the cosmos. Somewhere out there, an alien astronomer might be detecting Earth's signal right now and thinking, there's a technological civilization in crisis. They're loud. They won't last long. The Iskatian hypothesis isn't just about finding aliens. It's a mirror reflecting our own behavior back at us. It forces us to ask, do we want to be one of those loud, brief flashes? Or do we want to become one of the quiet, sustainable civilizations that last for millions of years but remains invisible because they've learned to live in balance? The theory suggests that the path to truly advanced civilization isn't through ever-increasing energy consumption and expansion, it's through sustainability, through becoming so efficient, so balanced, that you barely leave a mark on the universe at all. Maybe the reason we haven't found aliens isn't because they don't exist. Maybe it's because the successful ones have learned to whisper instead of shout. The Iskatian hypothesis gives us a new lens for understanding the universe and ourselves. It suggests that first contact won't look like the movies. There won't be flying saucers landing on the White House lawn. There won't be a carefully orchestrated welcome message from an advanced species. Instead, it might be a signal from a civilization we'll never meet, caught in the brief moment between their peak and their end. A cosmic obituary, arriving years after they're gone. But here's the hopeful part. If we recognize this pattern, maybe we can choose a different path. Maybe we can be the civilization that learns to whisper, the one that lasts, the one that, millions of years from now, finally makes peaceful contact with another quiet civilization. both of us having learned to survive by learning to listen. What do you think? Does the Iscasian hypothesis change how you think about aliens and about humanity's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are we headed toward becoming a loud civilization, or can we still choose the quiet path? If this video made you see the universe differently, hit that like button and subscribe to Mind and Marvel. We're breaking down the science that challenges everything you thought you knew. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the most advanced civilizations are the ones we can't hear at all.